Hello, folks. This is your host, Tammy Tuckey, and you are now listening to the Tiara Talk Show. We bring you rare interviews with the makers of Disney magic. Whether they be singers, actors, Imagineers, animators, they have all made their mark on the Disney name. Be sure to check out the show notes, other episodes, contests, our social media pages from Facebook to Twitter, and more on our official website at www.thetiaratalkshow.com. All guest opinions are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the opinions of the Tiara Talk Show or the host. The Tiara Talk Show is not associated with the Disney Company. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. And from all of us here at the Tiara Talk Show, have a hoop-de-doo day.
From across the land, you see the greatest smiling faces up and down the street. It's remarkable how friendly all the people can be.
I'm excited to welcome this week's Tiara Talk Show guests, the cast of Disneyland Fun.
Hi, I'm Arianna Ratner.
Hi, I'm Marco Perez.
Good morning, I'm Lillian Golembesky.
And this is David Bantly.
And a lot of people have seen this sing-along tape. It's almost at 3 million views on YouTube, which is crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
We're the kids in the 90s, so I remember watching this relentlessly all the time. So I'm very, very excited today to be speaking with all four of you. This is great because Arianna and Marco, you guys were a part of the kid cast, and Lillian and David were a part of the adult cast, basically. And you guys got to run around Disneyland. I don't know how long, but we'll get to that in a second. But I thought we'd first talk about the audition process because this was like the first Disney sing-along tape of its kind to be in the theme parks to promote the theme parks. So why don't we start with Arianna? What was your audition process like for this?
Well, I don't remember much because I think I was like 3, but the reason Marco and I did it, we're family friends. We've known each other. He's known me since I was born. My aunt or my mom's best friend worked for Disney, so that's why we were in it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, Lillian, I don't know about you. I guess I remember being seen at Scene Work Casting Workshop.
Yeah,
I think
me
a lot
too.
of people had been seen by the Disney folks. You too, as well, right?
Yeah.
They were. It seems to be back in those days, the Disney people were very good about getting out there to see somebody at the workshops. And Scene Work Casting Workshop, which I think still exists. You would probably know better than me.
Yes, it does. It's run by Jeanette O'Connor. And yes, it's a wonderful outlet for actors to have an opportunity to be seen by casting directors. And that's exactly where David and I were discovered for the Disneyland video.
I think so. I mean, we weren't given, I wasn't given the job right there on the spot, of course. We did come in and I came in and read for something or gave a look or whatever was required. I've forgotten now, but I think it was just a matter of attitude, a certain look, maybe could gesture and do things because there are really no lines for us in the movie, in the video. But and then I got the part.
I'm pretty sure that I don't remember thinking I was actually working. I thought I was just having a really fun day out in Disneyland.
Absolutely.
That's the way David and I felt too. It's like, wow, we're getting paid to do this.
It was a great couple of days for us. For what we shot out, as I recall, Lillian, it was 2 days, wasn't it? It was 2 days work. And
2 days work, and each day after work, we had the park to enjoy.
Right. And I just got to sit around and kind of, just have certain things done to me or done to us by the characters. And it was a fun couple of days.
It sounds like you guys really jumped into it and just started filming. So was there any script available? Because you said you had to read some lines, and I could only imagine a lot of material was cut because they wanted to keep it at 30 minutes long. So I know there's only a couple scenes with the kids talking, but I really think there must have been a ton more cut from the initial script.
Honestly, I don't think there was much script. I think really it was mostly visual. And maybe even in the moment created based on what the actors contributed.
I think so. That's as I remember it too. I at least our parts, and as I see the video, it looked to me like the kids had much more of a structure. And of course, I think it would have had to have been planned much tighter with kids, with groups of kids. But with the two of us, and maybe the other two couples as well. It seemed to be a little bit kind of a winging it situation. We just sort of, we're here and call over Goofy and we'll just do this on Main Street and we'll get a shot of what do you want to do and we'll look at a map or whatever that was.
Exactly.
But
So it
Arianna
really was.
and
I
Marco
think it
probably
was
had a very
really-
different experience.
Well,
I think
I mean,
was-
we sorry, I just wanted to say the one thing that I do remember my mother telling me to do is like just have fun and follow the adults. Just have fun. I don't remember any kind of instructions. I know Arianna and I were there having a good time, but that's about it. I don't think there was anything else involved for us.
But, I was thinking it really was creativity in the moment from the director, from us. And that's the joy of it, because it was a cohesive unit of creativity. And that's also, I think, the charm of it, because it's so real and we're having a good time. And I love the production values. The colors are so vibrant and the energy and the music. Having reviewed it in preparation for our talk today, the music is still in my head. And I love that,
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how many people saw it too. I actually one time was when I was in elementary school, we were in Big Bear, California, and we were at a cabin that we were renting, and the video was one of their VHSs. and literally I showed it to my boyfriend and he was like, I've seen that. He's like, we had that at my house. And I feel like every kid owned it, which is kind of cool. And all my friends have seen it. And I mean, they didn't know I was in it, but it's kind of cool how widespread it was.
Yeah.
Reviewing it again and on YouTube, and you see the commentary. There's over 1,000 comments on it on YouTube, and wow, are they passionate about this video? Because it hit everybody. I think the viewers were, of course, the age of Arianna and Marco at the time. They're essentially that age group, and it just brings back so many memories for them. And you read the commentary and they talk about they cry every time they watch it, and that was their childhood in a nutshell. And it's really an amazing thing how impactful it is, because everybody loves Disneyland. And you just think about that in your childhood, how much you wanted to go there and how great it would be to go back again.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is, would Arianna and Marco, would you be exposing your children to this today?
That's a good question.
No, go ahead.
It's hard to say. I mean, Disney was a very big part of my life when I was growing up. And I still believe that it's in my life, even though sometimes I don't even know it. But I haven't been back to a park since I was maybe 9 years old. And would I go back with some kid or possible family member of my own? Yes, I think I would.
But my question is, do you think that you would expose them to this video? Is it relevant today?
I think that I think it's not gonna have the sense of nostalgia unless we started them young, watching it all the time. But I mean, because I just think that age of innocence in 1990 when we were I was 3, I think. But yeah, I just think it's a different time. But I definitely think I would show it to my kids and they'd be like, "Oh my God, you're so 90s." I don't think it would have the same
hair
nostalgia.
Or
there is,
there's.
I was just going to say, there's an awful lot of 80s hair in that video, including me.
And
seriously.
Also to even say, Mom, you were that young.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's been many years since I've been to Disneyland, but and I guess I was there right after they opened the Indiana Jones ride, and I was able to ride that one. I don't know if that one's still there or not, but I assume it probably is.
Yeah, I don't know, but So Tammy, how many hits did you say the video has gotten?
It's approaching 3 million on one particular video, but there's plenty of copies. So I would say it has more than 5 million hits altogether online. This was the reason that they made additional tapes for the theme parks and live tapes. So they did a couple of tapes after yours. They did a Sebastian's Caribbean Jamboree with the voice of Sebastian, Samuel E. Wright. And they did that in Walt Disney World, and it did so well. They did another one with him. Then they did a beach party one for the 2 water parks they have at Disney World. And then it was like a couple years until they did one last one for Animal Kingdom. And that was in 98. So,
but how nice to know that we were part of, were we the first ones of the series of 5 that were made? Yeah, it was a wonderful idea. And it obviously had a calling for more opportunities.
But it would be great to see like what they would do today if they were to bring back the tape. And wouldn't that be cool if they cast you guys in it? Arianna and Marco, you guys could be the parents to some of the kids.
And we could be the grandparents.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm glad you jumped in and said that first, Lillian.
Well, let's plant the seed.
And for Marco and Arianna, so you guys, some of you had to ride certain rides over and over again, because I'm looking at the Thunder Mountain Railroad and Splash Mountain, and they need to make sure they get all different angles, camera angles. So in your opinion, how many times would you ride about almost each ride that is featured in the video?
Oh, geez.
I don't remember.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
And it's possible that there were 2 or 3 cameras already set up.
Right. All I remember is that the Tower of Terror has always been my favorite Disney ride. But I don't think I shot anything on that for this video.
Lillian and I, we just pretty much got to stand or sit or relax or just move from one place to another.
We got to eat popcorn. And
we got to eat popcorn.
Well, that's good.
And hang out with the chipmunks.
We got to have our portraits drawn by
That's right.
Goofy, Pluto. Boy, I would love to have that portrait right now. I wonder who has that. Someone, he was doing a pretty good job of it too.
Well, did they give you any props or costumes to keep? Like, were your clothes your own clothes?
Yes.
It was just our own, my own.
Well, what time of year was this actually filmed? Because I'm curious for the best friends of the characters, if you know what I mean.
I don't remember it being particularly hot, but I guess
it was not uncomfortable.
It must have been springtime.
Back when California had real seasons, it's literally 97 degrees this week.
Yeah, I feel like it was a very fluid environment. Like and nothing was staged. I feel like we were just having a really good time, and you were hanging out with characters just like you would on a daily basis of, the Disneyland park, but they would follow us. They would guide us to different things. They probably had some preparation. We were just kind of there having some fun.
Oh, I was just going to say, I see on the commentaries, a lot of the kids who love that video and watch it every day, sometimes still had to fast forward through the grim, grinning ghost sequence because they were so frightened by the trees and so on. So I was wondering, with Marco and Arianna, you being that age as well, of course you were professionals, so you're on the inside. But when you watched the video, were there sequences when you were that age, when you watched your own video, were there sequences that scared you the way it did so many other people who bought the video and watched it back then?
I'm sure it does, because I was traumatized by a lot of weird things. The weird videos when I was little.
Yeah, I don't recall anything like that. As I said, I think obviously I was older when I went to the Tower of Terror, but I think that was definitely my favorite ride. I've been a little fascinated by Disney's creative art.
I always had like a love-hate relationship with Splash Mountain because it really, to this day, scares me.
Me too.
I mean, but like I like it, but it also scares. Like those rides, like. Even Matterhorn, I think, and Space Mountain too. But Space Mountain I like more. But
Space Mountain was awesome.
I think I definitely will show it to my kids, and I think it depends. I think how you introduce something. If whether it's nostalgia and look what I was in when I was little. But it's so. I mean, I think it's timeless. The songs and the fun and stuff, especially for little kids. But it's also so. It's like a different era. I think these kids today are just used to like these fast snippets on like, on Snapchat and stuff like that. I mean, I'm talking about, I guess, kind of middle school age, but it's just a different age. They don't sit and watch these long videos anymore. I don't know. I mean, I definitely will show it to my kids, but I think it's like a different kind of era. We used to watch these things for hours over and over and over again, and I feel like kids just like need the new and different things every minute.
From what I see, it's just clips and clips and clips off of YouTube or wherever, just fast clips. And they have clips of this video, of course, on YouTube as well. But I don't see people sitting down and watching entire movies anymore, except in the theater, where they're strapped in essentially and can't control the video.
Do you guys have a favorite attraction or also restaurant when you go to Disneyland that you love to go to? You have to go no matter what on that specific trip.
Mine is Pirates of the Caribbean and the Blue Bayou restaurant in the one that's inside Pirates of the Caribbean, which is so cool.
I think my favorite ride was, I guess, the Haunted Mansion. Because I was there before the Haunted Mansion, and I was there when it first opened. So I was very impressed by the Haunted Mansion. Food, boy, let me see. It used to be, it was known in those days as that sort of a Carnation buffet. I'm not sure if that's still there or not, or if it's connected with Carnation. A little white building, right? Right across from Adventureland entrance. I used to love their sandwiches.
Mm-hmm. But, the teacup ride. And I remember also loving It's a Small World, because it was a chance to, if you were hot, to cool off and relax and just be gently entertained. Even though the song was very repetitious, it was still joyful.
Yeah, I think it was, but I would still have to go with the Tower of Terror as the most fun. For food, I was not picky, but I don't remember exactly any particular place for food.
Well, with this video, there again, so many people have seen it. Is there anything in particular you guys would like to say to the fans of this video for keeping it alive for so many years?
I want to say thank you for keeping it alive, because it was certainly on the back burner in my head until you contacted me, and it was like, oh, yes, we did make a really fun, charming video, or we were able to participate in, I should say. And gratitude.
Yeah, I'm proud to have been part of something that I guess for the most part people recall their experiences having gone to Disneyland or Disney World or any of the parks as a group, as a family. And I think that's part of the reason they are so passionate about it when they talk about it, because it brings back those kind of memories. They're not just of watching the video, but of actually having been to Disneyland with mom and dad and aunt and uncle and the kids. And I'm proud to have been part of that too.
Yeah, it's really just like a sweet, nostalgic time and video, and I think it's necessary for people to like still have that time, that kind of, wholesome fun that Disneyland offers, and it's like fun to watch this kind of video and see that, how we enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah, it was. Disney was such a big part of my life when I was young, and I hope it keeps on being a big part in other younger kids who will learn to enjoy, I would say, Disney today, and hopefully all the other good Disney from back then and all the videos that I grew up with.
I cannot thank you guys enough for making the video, because it really is a staple in my childhood, and I love it, and I'm glad I get to introduce it to my other little cousins. They love it. I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to stay viral for a long, long time.
Well, thank you too, Tammy.
I hope so.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Tammy. This has been such a joy.
It's been very fun.
And oh my gosh, my pleasure. And before we end, I have 3 Disney-themed questions I ask all of my guests. So we'll start with the Donald question, which is, as a child, what Disney film was one of your favorites to see in the movie theater?
For me, my memory of watching a Disney movie in the movie theater was The Lion King, and I remember sobbing. That's just my main memory of a Disney movie.
Yeah, I would
say
in the theater, The Lion King, but on regular tape, VHS, I think it was Aladdin. All the Aladdins for me were big.
Yeah.
And showing my age, Pinocchio and Snow White and Cinderella.
Well, there you go. That was my answer too, really, Pinocchio. But bear in mind, we were not there when it first opened, but we were there when they would re-release it and bring it into theaters again. And which they did about every 6 or 7 years in those days. They would bring back every one of the classics. And Pinocchio was the one for me as well. I still think it's Disney's masterpiece. I think it's the best drawn animation. I think it's the best score. It's the strongest story. I love Pinocchio.
And our goofy question, what Disney character do you think would be your best friend if you met them in person?
Well, Pluto. Isn't he man's best friend?
I like the Little Mermaid because I like that she was a redhead. So I'd like to do that with her.
For me, I think it would be the Seven Dwarves.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'm thinking Winnie the Pooh. I think it'd be a lot of fun to hang with Winnie.
And our Mickey question, if I asked you to name any Disney song at this very moment, what immediately comes to mind?
It's a Small World.
A Whole New World.
When You Wish Upon a Star.
Well, Lillian, you and I are in the same wavelength again because, of course, as I just said, not even knowing this question was coming. Exactly. From Pinocchio, When You Wish Upon a Star. To me, that's the key Disney song of all time.
It's key, too, because it's timeless, because it's about hope. And I also think that that's the beauty of Disney. It gives hope and joy.
Again, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on the show, and I do hope at some point we get to see you guys all back on Main Street together. That would be really special.
Be wonderful.
It's approaching 30 years.
Thank you.
And shut up there in the grave.